Good morning, and welcome back, hunters, to Supernaturalist, your deep lore guide into the creatures, myths, and shadows of the supernatural universe. I'm your host, Shelly Meyer, and today I'm stepping into the emotional, terrifying, and spiritually loaded Season 2 premiere, In My Time of Dying. This is the episode where the supernatural becomes personal, where death is not just a threat, it's an actual presence, where reapers walk the quiet halls of hospitals, where Azazel tightens his grip on the Winchesters, and where the Winchester family faces the cost of war. This morning, I am going to be exploring the Reaper Tessa, the full lore of Reapers themselves, historical and supernatural specific, how Reapers take souls, who Reapers work for, why Azazel wants John's soul, whether Reapers can die, the ancient myths behind death spirits and demonic deals, and the yellow-eyed demon's place in demonology and folklore. So settle in, dim the lights, and let's step into the space between life and death. The hospital as a haunted threshold. Season 2 opens right where Season 1 left off. The Impala is crushed. Dean is barely alive. Sam is bleeding, and John is shaken. But the real terror isn't the crash itself. It's what comes after. Hospitals are deeply symbolic in mythology. They're modern liminal spaces, thresholds between the living and the dead. Places where spirits linger, where souls wander, where reapers pass unseen. In My Time of Dying taps directly into that archetype. Dean lies motionless in a hospital bed, but his spirit is moving freely. He's not dead, but he's not alive either. He's in the in-between, a space reapers have dominion over. And in that space, a beautiful, calm, mysterious woman appears. She's a little freaked out, wondering why no one can hear her or talk to her, but that becomes apparent later. The girl's name is Tessa, but she's no ordinary woman. She is Death's servant, a psychopomp, a reaper, and she has come for Dean. But this is not made aware in the beginning. We'll find out. As for reapers in world lore, reapers are beings who escort souls from this world to the next and are among the oldest mythological creatures on Earth. So let's explore the global origins of this archetype. The Grim Reaper in medieval Europe. The image we all know, a skeletal figure in a long black coat, carrying a scythe, silent, patient, unavoidable. This imagery emerges during the Black Death, when Europe was ravaged by the plague. Death was everywhere, and people imagined it as a reaper of bodies cutting life down like wheat. The scythe symbolizes the harvest of souls, the inevitability of death, and the cycle of life and decay. But this is just one depiction. The Greek psychopomps, Hermes and Charon. In Greek mythology, death wasn't always frightening. Hermes guided souls gently to the underworld. Charon, the ferryman, transported them across the river Styx. Neither was evil, neither harmed the souls. They simply escorted them to the afterlife. And this is important because supernatural reapers work similarly. They don't kill, they just guide. And that's what Tessa does. The Hindu Yamadutas. Hindu tradition, Yama, the god of death, sends Yamadutas, messengers who collect souls and determine their destiny. These figures can be terrifying or gentle, depending on the soul's karma. Sound familiar? Supernatural incorporates this nuance as well. Some reapers are kind, like Tessa, while others are harsh or even corruptible. Celtic banshees. Not exactly reapers, but they're related. Banshees don't take souls, they announce death. They are death's herald, you could say. Supernatural later uses similar figures, including death omens and prophetic spirits. The Egyptian Anubis, one of my favorite. The jackal-headed god weighed hearts to determine the afterlife destination. He's a guide, a judge, and a guardian. And again, a spiritual escort, not an executioner. Shinigami from Japanese folklore. These death gods guide souls and encourage humans towards death. Sometimes benevolent, sometimes tricksters. Supernatural's Reapers share the ability to appear human and influence thoughts quietly. Reapers in Supernatural. What they are and what they do. In the supernatural universe, Reapers are neutral beings. They're ancient spirits older than angels and demons. They're servants of the natural order, and they're entities who exist outside heaven and hell's chain of command. Reapers don't kill, they shepherd. Their job is to escort souls once their natural time has come. This is why Tessa repeatedly tells Dean, "You have to go. It's your time." Reapers can actually become invisible and move through walls. They can speak telepathically. They can knock humans out with a touch, kind of like angels. They guide souls peacefully. And they can appear in human form, and usually do, because their natural form is a little bit frightening. Reapers aren't evil, but they're not good either. They simply are. But here's the twist. How do Reapers take souls? Well, in lore, Reapers and souls guides usually remove the soul by touch. Many stories say Reaper only needs to touch a person's forehead or hand. There's also separation during sleep. Some traditions claim souls leave the body in dreams. Reapers ensure the journey continues. There's psychic guidance. They convince the soul to leave willingly. And then rite of passage. A ritual, chant, or prayer helps release the soul, especially in Buddhism or ancient Greek tradition. In Supernatural, Reapers usually appear in human form. They communicate telepathically, and they persuade the soul by touching the soul to gently separate it from the body. But they can't take the soul that refuses to go unless the soul's time is truly up. Dean refusing creates a spiritual conflict, and that's where Azazel steps in with his own agenda. Who do Reapers work for? In lore, Reapers serve the cosmic law, the universe itself, gods of death, and sometimes the balance between life and death. They rarely serve a master like a demon. In Supernatural, however, Reapers ultimately serve death, a primordial being older than God's angels and possibly God himself. But Reapers can be bound, they can be kidnapped, manipulated, and corrupted. And in this episode, Azazel is doing exactly that. He binds Tessa. He forces her to appear to Dean. He manipulates the natural order. This foreshadows something bigger. Demons want to break the cosmic balance, and Reapers are simply in their way. So why does Azazel want John's soul? Yes, the infamous deal. Why does the yellow-eyed demon want John Winchester's soul? Well, John is leverage. Azazel knows Sam and Dean rely on him, and by removing John, it weakens that chain of command. Also, John knows too much. He has been hunting Azazel for decades, and he has knowledge most humans don't. Most other hunters don't. I'm not sure that most hunters even know about Azazel at this point. The other reason Azazel wants John? He has the cold, and Azazel needs that one weapon that can kill him for a bigger purpose. Also, John's soul is pretty powerful. In demonology, the soul of a righteous man holds enormous value. Now, that's not to say John is a righteous man. He has his issues, but Azazel is out to corrupt his soul, own it, and torture it, and that's a hellish jackpot for him. And Azazel wants the Winchesters broken. Their grief makes them vulnerable. Their loss makes them chaotic. Their desperation makes them predictable. And a broken family is easier to manipulate. Azazel is playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. So, can Reapers be killed? Lore versus supernatural. In lore, most mythologies say Reapers can't die. They are eternal, they're primordial, they're untouchable. But some folklore includes Shinigami, destruction through rituals, binding Reapers so they can't harvest souls, banishing spirits to another realm, and imprisoning death guides in talismans or sacred seals. But they don't die. They can be stopped, though. In Supernatural, Reapers are pretty powerful, but they can be bound, they can be forced to obey, they can be imprisoned, they can be controlled by spells, they can even be killed, but only by an angel blade, scythe belonging to death, and high-level, highly powerful spells and rituals. And later in the series, we're going to see Reapers murdered by angels. They're hunted by Billy. This is much later. Reapers are reborn into new roles. So they're not really killed, they're just reincarnated, let's say. But in My Time of Dying, the rules are just beginning to unfold. And the historical lore behind demons like Azazel, let's look at him for a minute. He's the yellow-eyed demon. In ancient Jewish lore, Azazel appears in the book of Leviticus. He's a fallen figure associated with corruption. He's linked to sins and sacrifices. He's blamed for teaching humans forbidden knowledge, and he often connected with deserts and isolation. On Yom Kippur, a goat for Azazel was driven into the wilderness, carrying away the community's sins. This is where the term scapegoat comes from. In the Book of Enoch, Azazel taught humans warfare. He taught women enchantments, which made them become witches. He was cast out into the desert under sharp rocks, and he awaited his final judgment. This aligns with Supernatural's depiction. He's a manipulator, a corrupter, and a tempter of humanity, almost like Lucifer. But in later seasons, we will find out exactly what Azazel is. In Christian demonology, over the centuries, Azazel evolved into a demonic prince, one of hell's generals, a corrupter of children, and a whisperer of destiny, which of course fits perfectly with his role in the show. He's recruiting special children. He's corrupting bloodlines. He's shaping Sam's destiny along with other children. Azazel is not chaos. He is strategy. Now for Tessa, the Reaper who changes Dean's story. Tessa is a Reaper, and she is unlike any other we've seen before. Remember, in Faith, very different Reaper. She is compassionate and patient. She's firm and calm. She's totally and completely neutral, but she's bound against her will by Azazel. Her interactions with Dean create one of the most beautiful themes of the entire show. Death is not the enemy. Dying is a natural transition, and what we fear isn't always the darkness itself, but the letting go. Tessa is the first being to ever tell Dean, "You're not a soldier, you're a soul. You deserve peace." That moment stays with him for the entire series. Now for my closing thoughts. The price of life and the cost of death. In My Time of Dying is not just a supernatural episode. It's a meditation on morality. It asked, what does it mean to die well? What does it cost to stay alive? And what does a soul matter in a world of monsters? John makes a deal, Dean lives. Tessa disappears, Azazel wins this round. The war is only the beginning. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Reapers, death lore, cosmic balance, and the yellow-eyed demon. Next time on Supernaturalist, we continue exploring the creatures and lore of Season 2, where fate tightens, demons rise, and Dean learns that death is never far and never final. Remember, keep your salt lines straight, keep your devil's traps intact, and whatever you do, don't follow the Reaper unless it's truly your time. But don't fear the Reaper either. And now, hunters, as promised, let's dive into some fun facts, deep lore, extras, and behind-the-scenes nuggets from In My Time of Dying that even longtime fans don't always know. As Richard Speight says, fun facts! Tessa was originally written as a one-episode character. Reapers come and go on the series, but Tessa, she makes an unforgettable impression. Her chemistry with Dean was so strong, and the philosophical depth she brought was so compelling that the writers later brought her back in Season 4 and Season 6. Her character almost never existed beyond this episode, but fans changed that. Fun fact number 2. This episode introduces the concept that Reapers can be bound. This is a huge deal in supernatural lore. Before this episode, Reapers in most mythology could not be controlled, could not be manipulated, and could not be trapped. But as we remember from the episode Faith, a Reaper could be bound, and Tessa was also bound by Azazel. So it is possible in Supernatural. It introduced the idea that a powerful entity like a demon of Azazel's rank could bind a Reaper using ritual magic. Now, we're not made privy to the type of ritual magic he used. We just know that it was used. This concept becomes incredibly important later. Alistair torturing Reapers, Billy becoming Death, the cosmic hierarchy of afterlife beings. This episode planted that seed. Fun fact number 3, the title is a Johnny Cash reference. In My Time of Dying is the title of a famous gospel blues song recorded by Blind Willie Johnson, Bob Dylan, and Led Zeppelin. The song is a prayer about facing death with courage and acceptance, exactly what Dean struggles with in the episode. Fun fact number 4, the name Tessa is likely short for Teresa, meaning harvester. The name Teresa comes from the Greek, or Theresio. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but it means to harvest. Yes, as in harvesting souls. The writers dropped a subtle linguistic clue. Tessa is literally a harvester of the dying. Supernatural loves hiding meanings in names, doesn't it? Fun fact number 5, Azazel's yellow eyes come from the medieval demonology. In medieval art and text, demons associated with trickery, temptation, deals, and corruptions, and they were depicted with golden or yellow eyes. Why? Because gold represents greed, temptation, the corruption of wealth, and the sin of pride. Azazel, being a deal maker, aligns perfectly with this symbolism. Fun fact number 6, John Winchester's deal mirrors Faustine's legends. John's deal with Azazel fits right into German Faust legends. Middle Eastern stories of deals with jinn, Christian demonology about pacts with devils, and medieval witchcraft accusations. The recurring theme in all these stories, power always comes with an unbearable price. And in this case, John trades his life for Dean's, just as Faust traded his soul for knowledge. Fun fact number 7, this episode marks the first time the Winchesters faced the cost of their war. Yes, monsters kill innocents. Yes, hunters live hard lives. But this episode introduces 2 ideas that shape the entire show. There are cosmic rules to life and death. The Winchesters are not immune from those rules. And more hauntingly, breaking those rules always has consequences. Fun fact number 8, Dean's out-of-body scene used a special filming technique. In order to create Dean's spirit form, the crew filmed Jensen normally, then filmed the background clean, meaning nothing else, and layered the visual effects to give a shimmering edge. This technique helped create the eerie in-between feeling, and it's Dean's spirits walking while his body lies still. Fun fact number 9, Tessa's calm approach reflects Greek and Celtic mythology. In many cultures, death is not violent. It's actually gentle. Death guides, like Tessa, appear beautiful, peaceful, comforting, and reassuring. Psychopomps aren't monsters, they're shepherds. Supernatural leaned heavily into the older, softer portrayal. And fun fact 10, this episode sets up the finale of season 2. Azazel's plan does not stop with John. This episode sets in motion Sam's evolving destiny, Dean's future deal, the cult's importance, the war between demons and hunters, and Azazel's endgame. In My Time of Dying isn't just a season 2 opener. It's the start of the entire Winchester meth arc. And that, hunters, wraps up our fun fact segment for today's deep dive into In My Time of Dying. This episode is an emotional, mythological, and foundational, and these behind-the-scenes insights only make it richer. Next week, we move into the deeper shadows of Season 2, where the monsters get darker, the stakes get bigger, and the lore gets deeper. Until then, keep your salt lines clean, your iron nearby, and remember, like I said before, death isn't the enemy, but demons sure as hell are.